Good morning. Good morning. Back again. Good to see you, my friends. All right. Off to a new week. Let's see what's going on in the market. We're about to take a look at real quick what BTC is doing. Take a look at what Solana is doing. Experiencing a nice little spike. Hey, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the chat. I pray we have all the technical stuff worked out for this week. Because we had quite a few people on the last stream. So we had a few people who want to partner with us from that live stream. So that was a big positive. So we got to get this right. Gonna improve on it each week until until we got the process down pat. Now, man, we've had a lot go on in this past week. Shout out to Oleg in the chat. We are experiencing a nice little spike on this chart. In the last, let's say 20-30 minutes, BTC spiked from 64 290 to 65 560. So that's a decent run, and we needed it so that people can keep their confidence in this market. So we needed that one. Now today we're going to jump into a couple of things. Copycat coins. We definitely have to talk about copycat coins because there's an OpenAI token out there. There's a Claude token out there. Neither one of these things are affiliated with the actual project. So yeah, we're gonna have to talk about that. That's a major concern from a couple of fronts. From definitely from the cybersecurity front, and then we have this spoofing that people do, where I'm just going to duplicate whatever you're doing, and try to steal some of your liquidity. So from a security aspect, we have to look at that, and just being safe overall, because there's only going to be one token with that specific name, and there's no need to buy every OpenAI, every DeepSeek token that comes out. It just makes no sense. So just to be on the safe side, let's not do that one. All right. When back, I think it was about a year ago, when I think that was Pump.Fund that launched Peanut the squirrel, and there were at least 4, maybe 5 peanuts out in the market all at the same time. Well, these other peanuts, they all tanked. I mean, of course, the original tanked too, but these guys tanked way before the original. So it's just out of habit, man. I noticed that on I think it was GMGN or Dex Screener. Let's go take a look and see what's going on over here. Yeah, I think it was GMGN. So what happens on GMGN? There's they add a little note now. Whenever a token was the first one to use the name and that token did well, they immediately call this token the OG token. So I kind of like that feature that they added. I mean, it only makes sense because for a guy like me that likes to get into contracts early, that solves a couple of problems. Usually if you're trying to get in within the first, say, 15 minutes to an hour, and if the token has a lot of traction, someone is going to duplicate it. It's happened when I've launched projects. People would duplicate it as nothing major. Now the thing is, when someone duplicates your project and makes more money than you, that's infuriating. And that's one of the reasons why that new feature, I think it's a winner. It's only going to benefit the users. So I see no downside to that whatsoever. Now, on Solana, we had a few projects just absolutely take off this past week and then absolutely crater. Now, even though that's disappointing, and I saw a little more hope over on the Robinhood chain. Well, on Robinhood, I think I was just goofing around with a couple of guys in the chat room. And I was like, all right, let's try some of these tokens and see what happens. And, we didn't do much. Like, just put a few bucks in the contract, see what happens. Just watch the pattern. And yeah, what we noticed was some of the same patterns that exist over on Solana, which turns Solana into an asset that we absolutely hate trading. I mean, it just is what it is. Most people hate trading Solana because there's no hold time. Now we're starting to see the same thing, and what I'm guessing is after Robinhood jumped up to take first place away from Hyperliquid, some of those same actors are like, hey, we're going to follow the money. And we're going to scam our ass off all day, because that's basically what they were doing. We were seeing contracts trade for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, which we didn't see so much in that first week. But like I said, when you jump on the scene and you jump on the scene as number one, everybody's going to try to replicate what you're doing. Everybody's going to try to come in and get their little piece of the pie. So that's what's going on with Robinhood Chain right now. I mean, it looks like adoption. It looks like, hey, we're doing things right. We're not so much. I would say probably half and half. Half good, half bad. Pretty soon it'll be 90% bad. Once Robinhood has full adoption, yeah, we're gonna trend towards 90% bad. I think Solana's success rate is probably around 1%, maybe even lower. Because, like I was saying on the last stream, usually those tokens have a crazy short life, unfortunately. And only thing that's going to fix that, better developers. So in the meantime, we're just going to try to be safe. Scan a few tokens that we want to get into. Make sure it's not a honeypot. Make sure we're not dealing with the dev that does this every single time. and just take it from there. Best practices. All right, now I'm seeing Solana and BTC have cooled off from this little spike we had, and they're trading outside of the zone. And if you watch any of my other videos, you know what that means. We're dipping back in the zone. So this is our trend right now. If you're swing trading, which I'm not right now, maybe after the stream we'll do a swing trade on this, but I think this point would probably be a good point to target. If you're on Solana, that'll be all sevens, 7 7 7 7 7. But nah, if you're gonna set it, then it should be set around 77.96. I think it's a good place to short from. On BTC, I think you can see we plateaued a little bit, traded sideways, and that is at 65,550. Started trading sideways. Now what this is gonna do, this might take us on a run, because we're in a strong trend right now, strong pocket. But let's jump over to this 5 minute, and on the 5 minute we're going absolutely parabolic. So get ready for a run today. Today looks like up is the play. We have both charts matching up. BTC is Papa, so whatever it does, babies are gonna follow. Solana's trading nicely inside the zone today. Nothing crazy going on. But we got a couple of stories that we gotta jump into before we get on our audits. I think we're gonna close out on our audits. But I was reading this earlier, and I don't even know what to think about this story. But Cuomo takes an OKX board seat. I want you guys to let that sink in, especially if you've been in crypto, you know, as long as I have. To see Governor Cuomo taking a seat at OKX, it's got to be one of the more unsettling things that I've seen since I saw Trump launching stablecoins. I don't necessarily think this is a good sign. I understand they're trying to be on the right side of compliance, and everyone is eagerly waiting what this new crypto regulation bill is going to be about. So I understand the move. They're trying to be on the right side of this one. I don't know if this is the guy though. Is this the right guy for the job? You tell me. Let me know in the comments. Is this who you would have picked if you're running? And OKX is one of the biggest exchanges on the planet. So would you have chosen former Governor Andrew Cuomo to be on your compliance oversight board? I just don't know, man. That one just seems like a stretch. But he has a big name. He's in politics. He has powerful friends. So yeah, you can do the math. You know how this goes. All right, let's jump into the article. Former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo has joined the board of cryptocurrency exchange OKX, while the company remains under compliance oversight required by the US DOJ. The appointment moves Cuomo from advisor to director as OKX. It's comical. I'm sorry for laughing, but oh man, this is crazy. From advisor to director as OKX expands in traditional finance and AI. It follows an investment by New York Stock Exchange owner International Exchange, which valued OKX at 25 billion. Let that sink in. OKX Exchange, $25 billion. The exchange's DOJ related compliance arrangement runs until February 2027. All right, so they're covered for a year. Not even a year. OKX announced Cuomo's appointment on July the 20th. So today, yeah, brand new. He has advised the company on its U.S. regulatory and institutional strategies since 2023. That's a shocker. Cuomo served as New York's Attorney General and the U.S. Housing Secretary before serving as the state's governor from 2011 to 2021. OKX said that the appointment formalized the relationship that had already shaped its approach to the U.S. market. That relationship developed while the exchange faced federal investigation. OKX pleaded guilty in February of 25, just last year, to operating an unlicensed money transmitting business and violating the U.S. anti-money laundering laws. Now, there were a whole lot of exchanges that fell under the same umbrella. So I guess everybody's paying it off. The company agreed to forfeit $420 million and pay an $84 million fine. It's a lot of money. It must retain an external compliance consultant through February 2027. Should be my job. And continue cooperating with federal prosecutors. Cuomo joins the board before that oversight period ends. He will take part in governance of a company that is still implementing the compliance measures required by its criminal settlement. Wow. He is also co-chair of the joint venture formed by OKX and ICE in June. Wait a minute. That doesn't even sound right. A joint venture formed by OKX and ICE. This is news to me. If any of you knew about this, please let me know, because this is news to me. OKX and ICE. I mean, that seems like a partnership that's something that may need to be looked into. Never knew there was a partnership with OKX Exchange and ICE. ICE took a minority stake in OKX in March and secured a board seat. It's just, the agreement covered regulatory crypto futures, tokenized equities, market data, and institutional infrastructure. The companies later formed a 50-50 venture intended to connect ICE's exchange and data systems with OKX's on-chain and self-custody technology, of which Cuomo was named co-chair. It plans to develop infrastructure for tokenized products, institutional digital asset markets. All right, so I have to dig a little bit deeper into this partnership. So I'm going to post an update to this tomorrow. Once I figure out a little bit more of what's going on. This is a weird one. This is a weird one. But yeah. Now we have Governor Cuomo he ran for mayor, lost to Mamdani. Rightfully so. I can't even be mad about that one. But now he's in the crypto business. Who knew? I will definitely look into that more and give you guys A lot more details. A lot more details on this tomorrow. I need to get to the bottom. But in other news, crypto imposters with Claude AI. Elon Musk. Of course, you know he launched X Money back in, if I'm not mistaken, it was June. And I think X Money is what the Twitter creators are paid with, but it launched without crypto. And just so that while we're on the subject of Musk, we're going to scroll down to this chart and look at SpaceX, which is rebounding from $120. Jeez. This should be called how to blow $1 trillion in a short amount of time. Because, oh my God. I told everyone in the videos that I posted before this IPO even happened, this is going to be a tough one. A lot of projects fail based on their launches. Now, I'm not saying this is going to fail because they have little under the table magic working for them. In terms of a lot of people have SpaceX in their 401ks now. There are a lot of firms who are deeply invested in SpaceX. So, man, this is trouble. That means your 401ks are taking a loss and will be taking a loss for a while. To see it down at 124 is troubling because you have to keep in mind the price now is not what it's going to be. This is the price because everyone's tokens are locked up. All the developers, all the employees, all the inside deals, everything that was set up for this token to make it stable and secure from day one, it's all gonna unravel. And I think that is it's gonna start in about 60 days. When they unlock those first investors and employees are gonna run for the hills, and this thing is gonna crater. So I think the big names at Twitter, the big names at Tesla, SpaceX, I think in that first wave, they're gonna run. They're gonna run like they got rocket shoes on. And then it's gonna cascade from there. Now, what he should have done was a launch more along the lines of what Trump did. Now, even though when Trump coin launched, I called it a scam because of the ratio. You're only giving the public like a small amount of tokens. You're pushing the liquidity way up. So that was a bad move. However, the launch was successful and people made so much money. I think that it went from what the original launch price was pennies and it got all the way up to $70. So that was life changing for a lot of people. A lot of people made profit, took profit. That's the pathway that Elon Musk should have taken with this project. Meaning a few people know about it, but you have enough revenue to generate buzz and you have enough people talking about it to where it spreads virally. Now, if they had taken that approach I would have faith in SpaceX, but the way that they did it, I knew right away this is a bad move. And a lot of people, maybe some of you, email me, DM me, hey, what do you think about SpaceX? Hey, what do you think about SpaceX? And I just flat out told you, better off trading oil. This is my honest opinion. Like, if you're gonna be in that market, you're better off trading oil or buying one of the blue chips, one of the blue chip AI companies. Good for now until the bubble bursts. But that SpaceX. Now we're gonna get back on to crypto. And yeah, X money is the new TikTok money. I'm pretty sure with SpaceX tanking like it is, we're probably gonna get a token out of X money also. So you can just look for that. And if we don't get a token from X money, I'm pretty sure someone will launch it. Almost certain. All right, let's see what hacks are going on today. South Korea opens sanctions process against Danamu over Upbit hack. Yeah, Upbit was cratered. Absolutely cratered. 44.5. Well, let me jump into the article and give you the whole thing. South Korea's Financial Supervisory Service, FSS, has notified Danamu, which operates Upbit, the country's largest crypto exchange. Didn't know they were the largest exchange in South Korea. That's news to me. By trading volume of its by trading volume, they're the largest. Of its examination findings over last year's 44.5 billion won, which is 30 million hack. Okay. So $30 million, 44.5 billion won. Initiating a sanctions process against the company. The notice, which sets out the regulator's provisional findings and gives the company a chance to respond, was delivered recently, about 7 months after the FSS began its examination, according to the financial industry and regulatory officials cited by Yonhap on Sunday. Upbit lost Solana-based assets to external wallets over a 54-minute window on November 27th, 2025. Wow, 54 minutes. 30 million. Of the 30 million that left the exchange, about 87% represented customer holdings, and Danamu covered those losses in full from its own balance sheet. Wow. That's when you've got a really good exchange. They covered the balances in full. Amazing. I can't tell you how many exchanges are out there that have completely robbed me. It did offer me anything. It had frozen about 6% of the outflow by December. Smart. All right, now that gives you a reason to trade on Upbit and begin to trust them, because you just don't see that many crypto companies being accountable for their own mistakes. So Danamu and FSS both declined to discuss the reported notice when contacted by Sandmark. The law has no hacking clause. That seems like a bad idea. The FSS has been examining whether Danamu breached the Virtual Asset User Protection Act, the law that does not treat a hack as a violation in itself. So the FSS would have to find that the exchange breached a specific duty. Upbit held more than 90% of customer assets in cold wallets, above the 80% floor set by law. And the theft hit the hot wallets, holding the rest. So authorities said they would instead look at whether Upbit did enough to safeguard customers' assets and whether it reported the incident properly. FSS Governor Lee Chan-jin set out the constraint as a press conference late last year. The agency had opened its examination immediately. He said, but what regulators can impose on the crypto sector is limited under the current law. A security breach was still not something that can simply be passed over. He added, saying the gaps would be taken up in a follow-up legislation. Now, here's the thing. So, they say 80% is the floor set by law for customer funds to be in cold wallets. They were holding 90%. Now, when you're hacking that many wallets on an exchange, the easiest way to do it is with users using hot wallets. That's just a fact. Cold wallets are much more difficult to manipulate. That's just how it is. Hot wallets have far more vulnerabilities. Right now there's a vulnerability going around on XRP where the users of some of their hot wallets, I don't have the exact wallet on, you know what? I'll look for the exact wallet and I'll add that wallet in the description. But you have to keep several things in mind when you're trading XRP. And I know we have a lot of XRP holders out there. A lot of people have been holding XRP forever. And a ton of people with their cold wallets loaded up. Cold wallets can be accessible, but it's much more difficult. On the channel, I covered earlier, maybe like a month and a half ago, where a hot wallet was exploited for millions on XRP. And this poor guy wasn't the first. It won't be the last. So once you're a whale and you have a considerable amount of assets, the only thing you should be worried about is securing it. Okay? Put them in a safe place. If you're going to trade using hot wallets, you should be switching those wallets up often. And, that's just me being honest with you guys. Change your wallets up often. Don't get stuck into the same patterns that you always have. Change your wallets, and we call that wallet hygiene. I would say every week, depending on what you're trading with. Every week you should switch a wallet, add a new wallet, and keep everything moving. Never stay in one place when you're trading large amounts of money, especially with as many tools as we have now that actively track liquidity. I know we have whale watchers, and we have a lot of tech that tracks all of this stuff and tracks it in real time. So yeah, man, stay safe, practice good wallet hygiene, and if you have a considerable amount in your wallet, I would switch it up every week, if not more. But rule number one, you should be using a cold wallet for your storage. Now, stop into this chart. We're consolidating right here, trading sideways, hit a liquidity zone, and we're gonna bounce up. That's Bitcoin. SpaceX. SpaceX is on a bounce too. They dipped down here, so when they hit 120, it had to go up. All right. That's a lot of liquidity. So it had to go up. But notice, even though it's going up, my indicators still say short is the play for SpaceX. I don't argue with my tech. Whatever my tech says do, hey, man, I believe it. Because it's been right more often than not. Way more often than not. So I can't even pretend like I'm not gonna listen to it. Alright. Let's go over here. Today we're gonna check out BSC. We're gonna look up, let's find something. Alright, this launch. Oh man, the name's on BSC now. What are we doing? Alright. Bowly, or whatever it is. We're gonna look this up. On BSC scan. Alright, last trade 1 minute ago. Let's go check out this contract. We're gonna copy that. So we copy the Solidity code or contract ABI. And you know what? Let's use Agent Alpha. All right, let's go back to the chart while I put in password and everything for this guy. Now, BSC is notorious for honeypots. So I'm almost certain that one of the contracts, if we do several contracts on BSC, especially some of the newer ones, we're definitely going to find exploits, and the majority of them are going to be just plain old honeypots. These honeypots are a problem and have been a problem for a while. Okay. So that's the first thing that you want to double check for. Make sure it's not a honeypot, because that's an automatic loss. We don't need that. And boom, happens like that. Or another version is a contract that you get into. It seems normal, like every other token. The price is just spiking. Price continues to spike for like an hour, 2 hours. Another version of a honeypot. Well, what the dev will include a script where you cannot sell your tokens. So you're able to buy into a contract, but you will not be able to sell. Now, this is another honeypot, but most of the scanners these days, they're able to fish that out. And if I'm not mistaken, every system that we have 4 systems. All 4 of these systems are able to identify honeypots, basically on demand. And we're not okay, let me get my password. All right, we're in there. All right, we're gonna go back. I'm gonna initialize this audit, and this is our layer 1 audit. We have a couple of guys that are a little bit more thorough than this one, but this contract is it's pretty solid. 78 out of 100 on our security report. Critical error, reentrancy via dividend calls. Potential state desynchronization. Now, this error that you see on high risk, potential state desynchronization and liquidate tax. Now, this used to come up a lot in older contracts, so I'm shocked to see it in this contract. And this is BOLE, BOLE on BNB, and it's got 78,000 holders. So that's pretty big token. Let's see what this market cap is. $5.2 million. Yeah, market cap 5.2 million. Yeah, they should probably tighten up. They should probably tighten up some of these holes, especially this one. Critical. All right, so we're gonna bookmark this token. I'm gonna try to reach out to one of the developers later on today, see what's going on. Or just let them know what's going on. All right, let's try another one. Let's go back to BSC. This token, CZ, final bull, baby asteroid. Let's look at one of the big caps. Pinks. 2.8. No, there's no freaking way. There is no way this market cap is that big. All right, let's try this one. Foley. Foley's on a run. Little spike today. All right. We're going to drop this one in. All right. Here's our BSC scan. We have 500,000 holders. My goodness. 500,000 holders. Last trade was 4 seconds ago. All right, let's check this contract. Back over here. Our recon agent is working. Vulnerability scanner is working. Exploit engine is working. Incorrect wrappers. Yikes. 65 score. Unrestricted mint via role extension. Role escalation. These guys really need to take a look at their contract and price is sitting at 251. Market cap, fully diluted value 155 million. A lot of token. And you can see it doesn't matter how much the project is worth. Is this one 155 million? The last one that we scanned was, what was that one worth? Like 5 million? And just much more secure contract than this one is. So yeah, Oli has a lot of vulnerabilities, and the devs should be on this. I pray for everyone invested that the devs are on this. This is crazy. But that's Oli. I mean, it's trading heavy. Trades all day. So they have motion. They're moving. We're gonna bookmark this guy. Add it to our watch list. And Yeah, let's go back over here. Now, I'm pretty sure that this Pinks token is a scam. Let's look at it. Okay. Now, it's being traded. It's really being traded. Right now it's at less than $9, $8.90. Fully diluted market cap 8.9 billion. All right. Now, when this happens, what the dev did was the dev managed to spoof the value of the project, or he only made a few tokens available for trading. That's how we get to this point where Pinks is worth $9. Let's see how many tokens they have. And I want you to, if you can see this on the screen, right here at Go+Security, as these guys with no issues. No issues. Go+Security. Quick Intel, another security company. No issues. However, with Oracle on Chain, our lowest powered analyzer gave this 65 out of 100, which is just not sufficient for a project of this size. It just isn't. There's some funny business going on, but I would have to dig in it just a little bit more. But unacceptable. Let's look at the contract on chain. They have 15,000 holders. Okay. But this, no way. No way. Pinex.sold. Interesting. Stay away from Oli. That token, yes, super high market cap, but don't fully trust it. Wow. Now, this on the other hand, Pinx, P-I-N-X, even though I was skeptical about the price, this $8 billion is, like I said, I'll dig deep into that and figure out what happened with that, but their contract is good. I mean, there are no glaring vulnerabilities. Your money is safe here. I mean, there are a couple of vulnerabilities, but nothing major where an attacker can just come in and their highest the highest risk is lack of reentry protection, but it seems as though their code is solid enough to where, you know, that's not really going to matter. Informational. Now, this is probably has to do with that high liquidity, but wow, this is much better than I expected. Now, like I said, this is our lowest power scanner. Let's jump into one of the big boys. that we know. Let's go to BTC. Deck screener, you're disgusting. I type in BTC and look how many options I have. And none of them are the real BTC. Sad. Alright. Let's try a different thing. Let's try BNB. No, not BNB on Solana. What is this? Alright, deck screener, you're gonna get fired. You're gonna make me switch out and switch to Dex Tools. So this is another tool that I use to scan tokens and SpaceX AI. This is another tool that I use to scan and get the contract addresses, information, developer. You can get all that information right here on this page. So we're on ETH, ADS. Banana is surging. It's good news. OPN. Matic's down 20%. Ape Chain. See what it's trading at. Have a market cap of 109 million. Ape Chain. Let's take a look at this contract. Scores are all good. Audits are all good. Copy this address. We're on Ethereum. So that means Etherscan. Ape has 188,000 holders. I mean, it's a whole blockchain, so that makes sense, of course. Let's look at this contract. Copy our code. Come over to Alpha. Now, one of the most useful tools in crypto that is basically free for everyone are block scanners. So from block scanners, you can find out a lot about a project. People don't use block scanners enough. All right, Ape is on a run. Let's see what our audit looks like. So far, so good. Wow, amazing. Amazing. Ape Chain scores at 95 out of 100. Now that's a professionally run organization, and they take their security seriously. That's exactly what this means to me. So shout out to Ape Chain. Much better than expected. They have very simple contract that became much more complex. But this is really good news for Ape Chain holders. All right. So that one was definitely unexpected. 188,700 holders. They might have just gotten one more today, because genuinely shocked. Now, circulating supply market cap 1.2. On chain market cap 144. Oh God. Sitting at 14 cents. That's 11,000% increase. Yeesh. That is massive. So I'm not gonna shield for Ape Chain, but as you can see, the stats are what they are. You see how we checked out on our scanner, where they're at. And as you saw with the last couple of contracts, the older projects are just more stable. They have a higher rating in our system. So much higher degree of security. Some of the newer projects could really use some help, like that Holy project. I mean, their market cap is massive, and it's just not there. Just not there. Everybody likes Pepe. Let's see what Pepe is. Pepe's market cap is 1.2 billion. Not the first $1 billion cap that we scanned. Now, the one we did earlier was the first $8 billion cap that we scanned. Earlier in our group, the devs, we found a vulnerability, quite a few vulnerabilities in a $1 billion project. But let's see what this $1 billion project looks like on chain. Pepe, we got 500,000, well, closer to 600,000 holders. That is massive. Whale concentration 88.91. That's insane. All right, contract. Let's give this guy a go. And they made their contract straight from Open Zeppelin. So I'm going to go ahead and jump out ahead of this one before I scan it, and let you guys know that if you use Open Zeppelin contracts in your project, don't add anything to it. Just use it as it is. Your scan is going to come back almost flawless. Now, when you start adding extra functions and bridges and liquidity pools, this is going to change that outlook. Now, Pepe gets a score of 72 for $1 billion project. You should be ashamed of yourselves. Get that fixed. You guys, you can get that up to 90. All right, 90, 95 should be your goal. This may be one of the reasons. Full control over blacklisting. That's not something that you want to see in a token, that the developers can blacklist you. Now, the most severe vulnerability And Pepe is centralization of power. All the money is at the top. Means all the whales basically control this, which is why we saw this 88.91 whale concentration. But as far as attacks, they're not exposed to the common attacks that drain most tokens. So as far as trading, holding it in your wallet, you're good with these guys. And like it says right here, it inherits from Open Zeppelin. They basically use Open Zeppelin contracts. Didn't make a lot of changes, so these I don't see this going away. Once the power is centralized in a project, yeah, that's not going to change. So it'll probably always be rated around this. Incorrect limitation logic, bypassable, unrestricted burning. Yeah, none of these are big issues. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. And I hope this was a nice little look into how we go from here, meaning your chart, tokens trading, to how the dev actually put everything together on the blockchain. There's our block explorer where you can track everything, transfers, DEX trades, contract. You can look at all that stuff right here. Get the contract ABI, the bytecode, and the Solidity code. Now we can scan a project using either one of these. The Solidity code, bytecode, or the contract ABI. All right. Now, in this session, we did Foley, and these aren't deep dives. These are just fairly complex scans for using our lowest power scan, right? So we can go much deeper into each individual problem with some of our other models. But what we're doing today, this is enough. We looked at Oli, we looked at Bowley, Bowley, I don't know, whichever it is. Oli, 500,000 people. We looked at Inks, Pinex, 15,000 holders with this massive market cap sitting at $8.90. We looked over on Ethereum at Ape Chain, a $1 billion project, and how it's performing. Excellent contract. Then we looked at Pepe over on Ethereum. Not so good, but they got a lively community, so pretty sure they'll get things together. There weren't a lot of exploits in Pepe. It's mainly how centralized things are. So good projects for you guys today. You can jump into and yeah, give it a go. All right. I think in our next session, we're going to go a little bit deeper than we did in this one as far as some of the scans go. And I think we're going to cover more new projects, because these new projects are a little riskier and they tend to have more exploits. And I think you saw with like the contracts that we were scanning, the newer ones. Yeah, the newer ones did have more exploits than some of the blue chips that have been in the market for a while, been traded for a while. And yeah, man, that's gonna do it for this one, Market Monday. If you guys have any questions before we dip out, drop them in the chat right now. Trying to get this chat a little bit more active. Might start giving out some stuff. I don't know. Y'all let me know. To our regular audience, start having a couple of giveaways. Now, I know a lot of you guys are subscribed, but I'm positive that a lot of you guys that are on the stream, because I think we have like 100 people in here now, I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are not subscribed. So if you're not subscribed, please do. And yeah, man, I'm gonna show you how to trade these things and how to stay safe. Okay. Back to our charts. BTC is still trading sideways, so this makes it almost certain that we're going to continue this pattern, right? Because we couldn't keep going straight up. We had to capitulate a little bit so that we can continue going up. This range has to catch up, and that's exactly what it's done. Now, I may drop a little bit more because this was just a moonshot right here from the bottom to the top. Absolute moonshot. So trading had to calm down after that, but we're gonna bounce, and I expect Solana to crack 78 today, and I'm expecting Bitcoin to hit where we're at. Bitcoin's gonna have to relax a little bit, but it probably has a chance to get to 65.7 within the next few hours. 65,700. Now 70,000. I don't know. That's pushing it. We might be months away from that one. But in the meantime, this range right here, you're good. Trade. This is the trend for today in a 5-minute and 1 minute. So lock in, and until next time, it's gonna do it for me. I'm Pix, and this is Market Mondays. I'm out.